Our aim is to help African and European stakeholders and processes to be more effective at cooperating to achieve better food security in Africa, the Caribbean and the Pacific, but quite a clear focus on Africa. Why Africa shouldn't just adopt and replicate what we've done in Europe and the developed world with our own agricultural policy. So I think next year we will be paying attention on some of these tricky issues and start getting involved in the discussion on nutrition. So when we grow agriculture and agriculture develops, but what are we eating? What about the quality of food? We have to take into account the sustainability. So what is the relation between climate change and agriculture? What are the type of research, the scientific research behind decisions in agriculture?
10 years of Maputo, meaning 10 years of the declaration, the African Union Declaration on Food Security and Agriculture.
Qu'il y a des petits efforts, mais qui ne sont pas suffisants pour faire le changement radical.
Farmers having a stronger voice in the agricultural policy dialogue, both at the national level and at the regional level.
Ces politiques-là doivent être favorables à l'exploitation familiale. Parce que tant que les politiques ne prennent pas conscience que c'est effectivement cette exploitation familiale qui génère non seulement la production, qui génère l'emploi, qui génère les richesses, les politiques ne vont pas être favorables au développement de ce type d'agriculture.
The Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Program and effective mechanism for development. I think that we've seen that over the past decade, significant progress has been made in agricultural policy making in Africa, and we can attribute part of these developments to the CAADP. But yeah, there are other important dimensions of the CAADP process at the regional level, and that's where policymakers and other stakeholders seek to address common problems within a region.
In the Southern African Development Community, more than 70% of the water resources are shared. So this poses very interesting realities when it comes to managing water, because it has to be done across the hydrological levels of river basins and catchment areas, and it has to be done across national levels where the political decisions are made and enacted, and it has to also be done across institutional boundaries, which oftentimes you would have some conflict across what happens at local level and national level and at regional level. But of course there are also lots of cases of cooperation.
I'm Quentin de Roquefeuille and I work in ECDPM's food security program. I focus mainly on trade policy. I mean, the relationship between trade and food security is not unidirectional, it's a complicated one. What we do exactly is, since we work on a regional level, we look at how countries and regions try to manage that relationship.
Policy coherence for food security means that what Europe wants to do in terms of liberalizing trade, what Europe wants to do to assist its own agricultural producers, how the big companies in Europe are traveling and investing and extracting natural resources in Africa. This doesn't lead the economies of Africa in a development path that is away of the small farmers and of the rural areas.
Well, on the one hand, you have the EU as this kind of value-driven development actor who spends over 1 billion a year on food security programs, while on the other hand, you have a whole range of other EU policies that often affect those commitments. So the whole concept of PCD, of Policy Coherence for Development, is about making sure that your other policy areas like trade, investment, financial markets, energy, agriculture, that you make sure that those policy areas actually contribute to your development goals in the area of food security instead of contradicting them or hampering progress towards those goals.